I think I've discussed this topic similarly before, but whatever. As you all know, I'm a big gamer. I don't only play that stupid petty game called FGO, but I do play a lot of other games. CSGO, FIFA, League of Legends, and anything that makes me throw my keyboard to the wall. I don't know if there's something wrong with me mentally or I just like to make myself suffer, but I have had a few share of multiplayer games. I do still play FGO, but after that little big Tengu event, I never really wasted a lot of my time on it again. In fact, I am still in Lost Belt 4 after months, and I also haven't finished most of Epic of Remnants as well. I grew tired of FGO, like all you do is roll for your favorite servants, then you advance the story while having to read tons of things. Like, I can't play it for a long time now. I used to waste my time a lot on this game, which you can see that the proof is there. But I really wish that there was more to FGO, I know this topic is so similar to the video where I talked about FGO Arcade, but please hear me out. What I was thinking for a while is the essence of Gacha games. Gacha games are probably the worst gaming design I have ever seen since the dawn of mankind. Just admit it. Gacha games are rarely fun. I know there's Genshin Impact, Tower of Fantasy, and Honkai Impact 3, but that's only 3 games that have actual gameplay in it. Oh, putting your units and letting them do their thing is gameplay, right? I would rather watch Boruto than trying to have fun in a gacha game. FGO is not bad, but it's not fun, is it? Let's be honest here. You put 3 servants, or 6 in this case, in a team, then you press big red, blue, and green buttons while pressing small icons, and that's it. That's the gameplay. That's literally the gameplay. I'm a gamer. I need more stimulants. I need tall, dominant robot females in the game or there won't be enough stimulation. Most gacha games don't have tall, dominant robot females. Well, given that they're mostly on mobile and there are hardware limitations, but look at Genshin Impact. They have the full game on mobile. I don't think an excuse of hardware limitations is a valid or an actual excuse for making a game. This happens all the time when a game gets released and it's poorly optimized, like the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. People blamed it on the Switch for having hardware limitations, but in reality, the game is just poorly optimized. FGO somehow doesn't have a full 60 FPS option. I mean, it does have the option to turn it on during battles, but the menu looks so ass in 30 FPS. Maybe it's just my gamer brain talking, but I can't help it, okay? 60 FPS is literally my minimum. Anyways, gacha games usually have a system where you spend in-game currency to get rare characters, items, whatever. And what I don't understand is that even though with this obvious pay-to-win model is present and shown off to its gamers, people still love the game regardless. Most people, if they see a game that has a pay-to-win system, they will absolutely hate it so much. Like FIFA, for example, or that Pokemon mobile game that nobody plays. It's an unfair system because people who have so much disposable income can just, steamroll through anything. You don't know how much people absolutely hate FIFA. Its own players hate it, other people hate it. It's just a shit game. Now we know that FGO and FIFA have their own pay-to-win model, or I guess you can call it gacha systems, or even more accurately, its own gambling system. Why do people still love one more over the other? I know that they're both not even the same game when it comes to gameplay and everything, but what they do have in common is pay-to-win. So why is that? Why do people love FGO regardless of the pay-to-win gacha, but people hate FIFA, or in this case, FIFA Ultimate Team, and it's, FIFA points, packs, pay-to-win? Here's why. One has all Wyran in the game, and one has Astolfo in it. But in all seriousness, there's a couple of reasons as to why people love FGO a lot despite its pay-to-win gacha systems. I said a couple of reasons, but it's like just one reason. I said it so you'll still be watching the video. So FGO is a single-player game. When you have a pay-to-win system for a single-player game, it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, you could make the game a lot easier to progress, in which there is no real fun in it, but it's not like it's hurting anybody. I feel that people should play single-player games however they want to. You could endlessly roll all the time in Elden Ring for all I care, and I don't really care about how you used 60 Saint Quartz to defeat Raikou and Shuten Doji in the Shimbusar Epic of Remnants Singularity. Of course, I will get jealous that you can use all of your disposable income to spend money on the game and get the servants you want, but that's really it. At least you're not using it against me. Having the advantage of money is not a good thing for games. I know that FIFA does take skill, but with OP players in your team, it mostly does the job for you. You do one good ball, then a really fast striker is through on goal. You see how bullshit that is? With FGO, you don't face players, you face the CPU. FIFA is multiplayer while FGO is single player. A big difference as to why the pay to win doesn't matter too much in FGO. In fact, even with really good servants, you still need to plan your team very carefully and make the right moves in those really tough boss fights. Second reason, there's just more to FGO's dead gameplay than it is. FGO makes up for its gameplay with its story and characters. And, you know, why do people roll for Astolfo even though he's a terrible servant in game? It's because who doesn't love Astolfo? People play FGO, I think it's for the servants and the story and the characters. Nobody really plays it for the sake of the gameplay, I feel like. FGO does have really cool and interesting story even though you're just tapping on the screen for the next dialogue and it's very dreadful, but at least the contents in it are very interesting and keeps me, you know, reeled in. This is also the reason why FGO won't work as a multiplayer game. Obviously, they will have to completely overhaul the gameplay, UI, and the system overall. And on top of that, the pay-to-win system will absolutely ruin it if FGO becomes a multiplayer game. I know FGO Arcade is multiplayer, but I mean, it's an arcade, so nobody really cares. FGO's gameplay is, you know, is highly complex if you think about it, and it revolves around with, I guess, clicking on cards and hoping something happens. And it involves managing your team of servants, selecting the right strategy, using the right skills and noble phantasms. You know, the sheer amount of information and strategy involved makes it difficult to play it in a multiplayer setting where you have to coordinate with other players or you have to think really hard in the turn, especially when you're playing with other players who may not have the same level of experience or knowledge. It can be hard in a multiplayer setting. Now, the game would be have to simplify it in a multiplayer setting, which would take away from the essence of the game and make it less appealing to the, I guess, core FGO fanbase. Also, FGO's story is one of the biggest selling points, and a lot of players, including me, invest a lot of time and effort in following the story and, you know, discovering new characters and settings. It takes a lot of time and effort, to be honest. In a multiplayer setting, the story would have to be simplified or just removed altogether, which would take away from the essence of the game and again make it less appealing to the core FGO fanbase. Also, sometimes the story forces the player to make a decision that can, I guess, affect the outcome of the game. Very rarely though, maybe like 3 times, which in a multiplayer setting, it could be really, really hard to implement. So, in conclusion, this video was very useless. I wasted your time. It's been a while since I have uploaded something. I've been procrastinating a lot and I'm just adjusting to going back to university and all. So yeah, the video that was supposed to post last week, I don't know when it's gonna finish, to be honest. I've been lazing around. I've been lazing around, man. I don't know why. I just get sleepy after I went home from university, but whatever. At least I can get this video out first and hopefully I can get more out. I want to be more consistent. I want to stream more as well. I want to start streaming, not stream more. I want to start streaming, but I need, you know, people to watch my stream first. So yeah. Anyways, that is all. See ya.